Hello and welcome. With this video, we'd like to inform you about the Low Carbon Dairy Project, a research program from the Wageningen University and Research. A program made in order by Nestlé, Ben & Jerry's, Kono and Vreugdehill. At my table, I welcome Alfons Beldman, Senior Researcher Dairy Farming. Welcome here. Theun Vellinga, Senior Research Farming Systems, Climate and Nutrition Cycling. Welcome also here. We are talking about the program I introduced. What is the goal and the urgency of this program? Alfons, can you explain, please?
Well, let me first explain how it started. It started actually with two dairy processors, Dutch dairy processors, who asked us for help in their program. So the one processor is Vreugdehill Dairy Foods, and the other one is Kono Cheesemakers. And Nestlé is a customer of Vreugdehill Dairy Foods, and they have built their dairy program, Tomorrow's Dairy. And Kono Cheesemakers with Ben & Jerry's have their own sustainability program that's called Caring Dairy. And both of them had a target built in their program to reduce carbon footprint of milk with 50%. And they already started working with their own farmers on this program. And then they came up with research questions, and then they came to us, can you answer our questions? And then we built this, what we call private-public partnership. So 50% of the research is financed by the private companies, and 50% of the research is financed by the Dutch government.
And you started 2 years ago. The whole program takes 4 years, so you're halfway. What is the urgency of this program?
Well, the urgency lies in the Paris Climate Agreement, but also in the new policy of the European Union to report about social responsibility, and also in the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions to be climate neutral in the end. Private companies have taken up these obligations, partly because they have to, partly because they also understand that this is their well-known interest for the long term. So they need to change to be in business also on the longer term. So that's the urgency, and this urgency, in fact, is also, well, given, passed over to the dairy companies and again passed over to the farmers. So there is a business urgency as well.
Yes, I understand. And what is the reason why you are especially focusing on the dairy farming?
Yeah, if you look at the whole carbon footprint in the whole dairy chain to the end product, then by far the biggest share of the footprint comes from the dairy farm, and partially from the fertilizer and feed they buy in. But there's where the biggest impact is. So if you want to improve your impact, then you should work on the dairy farm. Okay, so the dairy farming is very important to receive the goals from Nestlé, from Ben & Jerry's especially. Yeah. Is it only for their farmers, or is it the results of this program is also interesting for all dairy farmers?
Well, in fact, all these research results are widely applicable.
Okay.
So it also holds for other dairy farms as well.
Yes, not only in the Netherlands, not only especially who are delivering from Vreugdehill and Kono Cheesemakers, but for all dairy farmers in Europe?
Well, in fact, it's a goal from the partners that all the information we collect and the knowledge we develop in this project, that will be available for all farmers. Obviously, the focus is on Dutch farmers and Dutch circumstances, but I think the overall lessons are applicable to all dairy farmers.
Okay. Do have the Dutch farmers a special position to receive the goal?
Well, what's maybe a bit special for the Dutch circumstances is that all farmers already know their carbon footprint. So the carbon footprint is being calculated by a tool, we call it the ANCA tool in English, an annual nutrient cycle assessment tool, but it also includes a carbon footprint. So all Dutch farmers have their individual carbon footprint available already for a number of years.
Okay.
And I think that's quite unique.
Yes.
There are not that many countries where farmers have their own carbon footprint available already for a number of years.
Okay.
So that basis of information is already available in the Netherlands. So.
Okay, that's clear. What exactly is the approach of the project, Theun?
The approach of the project is that the farmer and his own farm are in a central position. Because most of the things have to be done there, which means that if we start a discussion with the farmer, that's done by advisors. We have special advisors also involved in the project. We use this farm-specific data that are also collected in this annual nutrient cycling assessment tool. So we can make farm-specific calculations. We have a tool where we have the mitigation options and can link them to the farm-specific data. So we can say on your farm, the effect of using white clover is so many grams of CO2 equivalents. The use of feed additives is so much, etc. And but it's always the farmer who makes the selection of this is what I will do on my farm.
Okay, and we are halfway now of this research program. It takes 4 years in total. Can you tell me something about the results till so far?
Yeah, I think one of the learnings is about this process, about how to make a plan. So we learn a lot about that, and we can improve that. So we have made a format for how to make a plan and how to make it actionable, because that's making a plan is one thing, but actually executing it is always another thing. So we focus a lot on the execution of plans and monitoring the execution. So we try to develop that further. We're working on the tool to explore the options, and Theun can tell a bit more about that. And we also have some first results on what are the main mitigation options that the farmers choose, or what are most effective. And so far, the reduction is about 15 to 20% on the farm. So we still have a way to go.
Okay. So can you tell me more, Theun, about the tool? Because that is one of the main results you are working on.
Yeah, the tool, we call it the mitigation engine, because in fact it's a kind of engine that can be linked to different monitoring systems. When you monitor farm data, the mitigation engine can be linked to it to make farm-specific calculations. We have at this moment 17 mitigation options ready in this tool, where we can calculate, if you apply it on your farm, what will be the reduction. So if you use feed additives and you only use it during winter or also during summer, what will be the reduction in greenhouse gas emissions? If you use manure digesters, if you introduce clover on how many hectares of your farm, all these things will be calculated.
Yeah, and you make already a top 5 of the quick wins.
Yeah, well, the quick wins, we have the big wins indeed. And you use feed additive to reduce enteric methane is a very strong one. The other, that's also manure digestion, although it's not applicable on every farm because you need a certain size to make it viable. But also the use of compound feed with a low footprint. Compound feed is a product that takes a lot of energy to produce, and if you're able to reduce the energy use during production, you can have compound feed with a low carbon footprint, which also will reduce. That's one. And also the introduction of white clover in pastures to replace the input of nitrogen fertilizer is also a very effective one. In fact, what we see, those are the big 4 ones. And in fact, there is a number 5, which you could call good agricultural practice, because we see that on many farms, a number of technical processes can be improved. Just by doing the things you do it better. And there is also a potential to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by that. And especially now there is a need to reduce 50%. There's also coming more urgency to do more with the good agricultural practice to really improve your processes.
Okay, and does it matter what kind of farm you have?
Well, it depends a bit on the type of farm, which mitigation options are applicable to that farm. So it depends a bit on your farming system, how much you graze, what kind of soil type that you have. So we try to take that into account as well. And maybe adding to what Theun said about the compound feed, because we talked about the dairy chain partners that are involved, but there are more partners involved in the PPP. We have 4 feed-related companies that are involved. That's Agrifarm, For Farmers, De Heus, and Duiny. And actually, we challenge them actually to help us to reduce the carbon footprint through the feed options. So we work with them to reduce energy use in compound feed making. So they're also a partner in this program. And we have 2 more partners in the PPP. One of them is Lely. So, and with them we try to get good, solid data behind automation options. So what can actually, how much can using a milking robot or other automation options bring to lower the carbon footprint. But to have solid data underneath that, not just the story, but the solid data. And also Rabobank is involved in the PPP because we also look at the economic consequences of certain measures do cost money. So we look at those costs. We look at the investments, for instance, for digesters. And together with Rabobank, we try to find solutions for that as well.
Okay, and a PPP is the public-private
partnership.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay, let's see. We already have discussed about the first results. You have 2 years to go for the end of this PPP, the research program. What exactly do you want then at that moment to have for kind of results?
Well, in fact, we have 2 types of results. The one is that we have a further development of the mitigation engine. Although this mitigation engine also at the end of the project, it will never be ready because you will have new options coming later, so you have to update it.
So that's the tool?
Yeah, but that's the tool.
Is it only for the Dutch dairy farmer, or is it useful for every dairy farmer?
It can be applied internationally. And of course, you need to look whether the effect of some options is exactly the same in other countries. For the use of feed additives, it probably is, but the introduction of white clover, then you have to look at local conditions. So it means that you need some modifications to make it internationally applicable.
So we have the tool. Yes.
The tool. The other is, in fact, what we call the organization of the change process, because farmers have to do things different, and also the dairy company has to act different because they are now asking another quality of the milk, and it means that you have to monitor this. You have to think about what are the costs, who will pay, etc. So it means that, and also if you want to do this change process, it means that you need to coach farmers to do this. And well, if you have a pilot with 10 farmers, it's relatively easy. You can spend a lot of time on them. But if it goes to 1,000 farmers, you need to come to another way of working. And we're also developing now that other way of working so that you can scale up this process.
Because how many dairy farmers working right now at this moment with you in this program?
Yeah, so both dairy chains started with pilot groups, and one of them had 17 farmers and the other 10 farmers. But especially one dairy chain is really scaling up. So they started 3 years ago. Now they work with about 80 farmers, and they want to scale up until about 250.
Okay.
So that's already, let's say, serious business. And it's different if you work with a group of 10 or if you work with a couple of hundred within your dairy chain.
Yes, okay. What is your advice for the dairy farmers and also their advisors who work with the dairy farmer to reduce the CO2?
Yeah. Well, first of all, be ready for the future, because we see this. Theun already explained the urgency. So the buyers from the dairy products will keep on pushing on lowering carbon footprint. So as a farmer, be aware where you are, what your current position is, what is your carbon footprint, and what kind of options do you have actually to reduce them, so that if the demand comes, if the question comes, that you're ready to take the measures that you have to take.
Okay.
Yep.
You have. What is your advice?
Well, in fact, in addition to that, there are already a number of steps that you can take without any costs, and that's in fact, well, have a good look at your own actions in the farm and where could I improve my performance. Because that's also financially attractive and it will also reduce the carbon footprint.
Okay, that's at least a start. Yes, okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this conversation and for your information about this program. And thank you. Good luck also with the rest of the program the coming 2 years. Do you want more information about this program? Then please go to the website of the Wageningen University and Research. Thank you so much for watching this video.